Okay, welcome to this step-by-step painting demonstration. This is Rod Moore from Moore Art School, and in this very brief video I just want to walk you through the steps I took to paint what is the old art gallery. This is a photo I took of it recently. Now the old art gallery is up near Hall's Gap in the Grampians, which, if you've heard the recent news, there's been some pretty significant bushfires around there. So hopefully this old building is still standing. It's a beautiful old building nestled into the trees there. I like the balance of the light and the shade and the darks in the shadow areas of this photo, so thought I would give it a go painting it. So I just wanted to walk you through the steps that I took in putting together this painting. So what I started out with is, now I obviously didn't want to paint it exactly the same as the photo. In my view, there's the idea of painting is to create a representation of the things that we see. So I've just roughly drawn out a pencil sketch onto an 8 by 10 inch board. Now the board's been primed with some gesso as a painting surface, and I've just used a grey lead pencil just to roughly sketch in the big shapes, really. And you can see here I put no definition into anything at all. It's all really about placement, on the board there. And then I started out by putting in my darks, and what I like to do is use a dark wash. So it was a very wet mix. In fact, you can see the light glistening off the mix here. And I look for the darkest darks, which are obviously around the shed here and in this main tree in the front and just around the base of the house. They were the darkest darks in the picture, and all I've done is mixed up ultramarine blue with some burnt sienna and quite a bit of thinner in there. And I've warmed up the shadow area here as it's come forward, and as it's gone back I've greyed off the dark. So you can see there that the dark in the back distant trees is nowhere near as strong as the darks in front of the house. That just gives you a bit of aerial perspective into your painting, which I think is important. And I kept working forward, putting in the foreground, and for the foregrounds I've used a warm dark. There's a little bit of alizarin crimson in there and burnt sienna, and I've just blocked all that in, basically blocked in around the little shed here, and put in the doors and chimney and the shadow of the chimney. Now that's probably my darkest dark right there, back of the chimney, the door, which would be almost 50-50 ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. So just the process of getting in all those big dark areas with a really very thin mix, lots of thinner in it, and that way it dries out quickly and you can then start putting highlights over that. Now this is not a great photo of it because there's quite a bit of light hitting, but you can see here that I've started to put my lights onto those trees in the distance, and the light's coming from top left hand corner there. Actually no, it's coming more from the top right there, hence the fall of the shadow, and just getting some of those in the distance there, and put the blue sky in, blue at the top, and I've warmed it up towards the bottom with a grey on in the warm side, the red side of grey there. And then coming forward even further, I've put in some red into this bush here, put in the tree trunks in the distance, trees, warmed up the foliage around the base of the shed and in front of the house there, put in the grey sort of shadow colour on the wall of the house, and a few little details on the roof and some rust and things like that. And I've also come into the foreground here, and you can see here I put in, it was quite, I wanted to capture that feeling of light hitting the field or their backyard, I guess, and then put in some foreground details like the posts and more shrubs, and playing around with the light over the light of these little bits of grass and so on over the shadow of that tree, which is out of the picture here. And quite a good little painting, a simple little project. It's obviously not a complete finished painting, but it's a good little exercise to get a bit of a contrast of darks against lights. And I think the overall effect is that it looks, it has that feeling that there's sunlight hitting the roof of the two buildings and on the veranda here, and that's really what I was going for, is getting that brightness of where the sun's directly bouncing off those surfaces and hitting the fields here. So overall, a good little painting, good one to have a go at. So feel free to pause the video and, especially at the start with the photo, and create your representation of this painting. I think you'll enjoy painting this one. This is just a little 8 by 10, so it's a quick and easy little exercise to do, or take more time with it and put it in a bit more detail and use it as a finished painting. And this is a photo of the finished painting when it dried. Unfortunately, the lighting conditions were a bit off, and it's gone a bit on the blue side. That's probably not the true colour, but anyway, it gives you a feel of what the finished painting was like, and you can see the paint's dried off quite a bit there. And that's basically what the finished painting came out to look like. Now, if you're interested in learning to paint, we've got a free 5-day painting video course, which you can get at www.freepaintingvideos.com, or just click in here where it says click here, and that'll take you to the page where you can get access to that free 5-day painting course. The painting course is in acrylic and in oil. You can paint in either medium, and we just walk you through how to get started painting, some of the basics, colour mixing, starting a few basic paintings, and there's a couple of complete projects for you to have a go at as well. So if you are interested in learning how to paint and you've enjoyed this video, then drop by our site there and register for the free 5-day painting video course. And if you do, then I'll see you over there. Cheers for now.